So we are back in the sugar scoop of the boat, and I'm dropping the rudder, and this here is the rudder stock. It goes up there in between the two canisters for the cooking gas. That's the emergency tiller connection up there at the upper point up there. This is the steering quadrant, and on top of my holding tank over here you can see the tiller arm for the autopilot that secures to this part of the rudder stock right above where the ceiling lip is not correctly mounted. This boat had its rudder bearing, lower rudder bearing, replaced in 2019 by a company hired by the previous owner, and they've made a horrible job of it, and they've coated it in VC17 and it's aluminium, so that didn't go too well. The bearing inside of the housing is good, but the housing is not in great condition. I've now bought a new one, but I cannot fit it this year. I have to wait till next year. This assembly with this pipe, I don't think that's supposed to be there, and I think this rubber bit should have been longer. The original bearing is a bit taller than this, but we will replace that next year, and I'll let you have a look at the process. The new original bearings from Bavaria and also Jaffa, that's the manufacturer in Denmark. It's not made of aluminium anymore, they are made out of some sort of plastic, and that's a much better solution. But that's for next year. The reason I'm dropping the rudder is so that I can plane off the last bit of gel coat at the top, because I'm doing a osmosis treatment on the rudder. I also drilled out a hole in the bottom, so there was a little bit of water in it. I'm letting that drain out over the winter. I'm going to seal it up, and next year when the rudder is off the boat, I'm going to drill into the side of it and check every weld inside. So yeah, it's a bit of a stupid thing not to do everything in 1 year, but that's the way it is. So I've taken off the tiller arm for the autopilot. That was just 4 bolts with Allen keys attachment, and there is one bolt in the center there that locates it on the shaft, on the rudder stock, so it's quite easy, and it's just a pin going through on the autopilot and here, so with a clip. So that's an easy bit. Now I'm gonna disconnect the quadrant, so I'm gonna let you join me for this. I'm gonna do it on a time lapse, but basically I'm gonna disconnect the attachment for the rudder angle sender that's in the autopilot system, that's attached in the middle there. So I'm just gonna undo those 2 flathead screws and let that sit on the arm for this reader unit. Then I'm gonna loosen up the wires around the quadrant, and I'm gonna loosen the quadrant from the rudder stock, and then I'm ready to drop the rudder. So that's the plan. I don't think I'm gonna drop the rudder completely today. I guess I'll just make everything ready. You can probably hear that it's really bad weather outside. It's blowing really badly, and it is raining sideways. So yeah, that's that is the way it is. So I'll put the camera on time lapse, and we will start working on getting the quadrant off. I'm sorry I didn't get to film this as much as I had hoped, but I've now dropped the rudder. And that was kind of a strugglesome process. You can see the top of the rudder shaft up here, and the top bearing up there. The rudder shaft did not want to move at all in the beginning, or it seemed like it wouldn't. I did not have any problems with a seized rudder bearing on this boat. The rudder was turning fine, but as I was dropping the rudder shaft, it jammed up a bit. But the medicine for getting the rudder down is actually just let gravity do its thing, and you wiggle the rudder about port to starboard, and it drops a little bit each time. Slow at first, and less slow, if you may, along the way. And in the end, on this boat, I have a really long rudder shaft, probably the same as on the ocean versions of this boat, because I don't have a walk-through to the swim platform, so it runs all the way to the top of the deck. So it has a long rudder shaft, and it tapers rather high up, so I need to move the rudder really far down until you get any play in the bearing at the bottom. And when you reach that stage, it drops. So I had some wood lying underneath, and it was about 5 centimeters until it touched the ground, so I dropped gently down to the wood blocks. I was also holding the rudder, so I dampened the little fall that it had, so it was no damage done to the rudder. Now I need to have the boat lifted off the rudder to get to work on the rudder, and I think I will have to see if we can get some good light down here. I need to look at replacing this lower housing, because this doesn't look good, and also I need to talk to the company in Denmark, Jaffa, that is making these rudders, because I'm going to show you in a minute, the rudder stock does not look good. So I will ask them if this is okay. I hope it will be okay for some years at least. This is a 74mm rudder shaft. So this is the condition of the rudder stock. And up front here, or at the aft side, it looks quite nice, except from this little bit down here. But here you can see there is pitting. And I'm not sure if you can see it now, but I'll use a different camera. But also on this side there is a bit. The reason for dropping this is that I want to take off the gel coat on top as well, like I've done on the rudder blade itself. That was the condition of my rudder stock. I wish it was quite a lot better than this, but that was what it looked like. I've now cleaned it, so that is what I can get out of it, and we will see what Jaffa will say about the rudder stock, if it's possible to save it, or if it's usable, or if I have to replace the rudder. I guess I could cut off a bit of the top of the rudder to inspect the rudder further down the rudder stock, and I also would like to inspect the yeah, there is welded on some flat bar inside of the rudder on both sides of the rudder stock, and they meet at the end of the rudder almost. So the fiberglass shell is glassed onto those, and rudder is filled with foam. And since there was a bit of water ingression in the rudder, I would like to have a look inside. So we'll see. I have talked to a trucking company that can lift the boat off the rudder, and I'm getting a quote for that. So hopefully we can get that done soon, and we will have to take it from there.